Week 4, aka Feast Week, gave us the matchups we've been waiting for. Several teams took their first L. Undefeated seasons snatched away. There were a few upsets, championship victories, and lots of fun in the sun for the ladies. In this video, we will cover the AP Top 10 teams, the AP Top 25 exits and inners, the Week 4 great matchups, the Davis Sports Reports, Players of the Week, and games to watch in Week 5. Before we get into that, let me welcome you guys back to Davis Sports Report. You guys really showed out last week with the likes and the subscribes. We sincerely thank you. But I'm still seeing a lot of you coming by and not subscribing. Do us a solid and hit that like button and subscribe to help us reach our goal of 10,000 by the end of the year. We've got just about 4 weeks and the clock is ticking. Now let's get into Week 4. Starting off with a brand new top 10. Number 1 is UConn as they hold on to the number 1 spot with a 7-0 record. Then there's Texas, who rose number 2 after a massive week, taking out the previous number 2 and number 3 teams. For number 3, there's South Carolina, who drops 1 after that loss to Texas. And number 4 is UCLA, who drops 1 again after the loss to Texas. And number 5, LSU holds the number 5 spot with an 8-0 record. For number 6, Michigan holds steady at number 6. For 7, Maryland remains in the number 7 spot with a 9-0 record coming off a pretty impressive week. Number 8 is TCU as they hold steady at number 8. For number 9 is Oklahoma. They remain in the number 9 spot, and rounding off the top 10 is Iowa State holding steady, and they are also coming off of a great week. Next, we will discuss the big moves in the top 25. There weren't major moves, but the biggest drop was Tennessee, who fell 5 points after the loss to UCLA, and West Virginia tumbled 4 after their loss to then unranked Ohio State. Now we will quickly talk about the exits and enters. New to the top 25 is Ohio State, coming in at number 3 after an impressive win over West Virginia. And ousted is, well, this one took longer than we expected, and that's going to be North Carolina State. We hope to see you guys again, but for now, get to stepping. Moving on to recap the great matchups of Week 4, we will start by shouting out the winners of the Thanksgiving week tournaments. First off is the Players Era Championship, and that was Texas defeating UCLA and South Carolina. Then the Coconut Hoops Championship in Fort Myers, Florida. The Blue Heron Division was Iowa State as they took out Indiana for the win. And for the Great Egret Division, Oklahoma took out FSU with freshman Aaliyah Chavez winning MVP with 29 points. Then we have the Paradise Jam Championship in U.S. Virgin Islands. And the Reef Division, LSU took the win. Island Division, Vanderbilt took that win, and for the Harbor Division, Boise State took the win. Moving on to the Fort Myers Tip-Off in Fort Myers, Florida, the Island Division, Georgia defeated Kansas. For the Shell Division, Missouri for the win. Then the Cancun Challenge in Cancun, Mexico, where TCU was the victor. Now for the Baja Mar Hoops Pink Flamingo Championship in Nassau, Bahamas. For the Goombay Division, Ohio State upset West Virginia. And for the Junkanoo Division, Alabama got that win. Now moving on to the Emerald Coast Classic in Destin, Florida. For the Beach Bracket, Nebraska got the win. For the Bay Bracket, Mississippi State got the win, and freshman Madison Francis was the MVP of the game with 6 blocked shots. Now to the Hawaii North Shore Showcase in Oahu, Hawaii. Texas A&M took out Colorado for the win. And lastly, for the Puerto Rico Shootout, Maryland took down Kentucky for the big win. Congrats to Maryland. And now to the great matchups of Week 4. Let's start with UCLA versus Texas. Texas came out and dominated the first half. Rory Horman and Jordan Lee set it off early. Rory racked up 6 points in the first 5 minutes of the game, so she was feeling herself. On the defensive side, Kyla Oldacre and Justice Carlton were holding it down, and I knew that Texas's bigs would be able to hang with Lauren Betts, and boy did they. In the second, Jordan Lee kept her foot on the gas. Madison Booker started waking up, and the Longhorns' Big Four, Tia Sidbury, Bria Cunningham, Kyla Oldacre, along with Justice Carlton, I can't forget about her, really hit the boards, going into the half up by a comfortable 20 points, which is mind-boggling to me. The tide turned after halftime with UCLA rallying to be within 10 points. Talk about a run. Gianna Neekins stepped out front to attempt getting UCLA back in the game, but Texas kept bringing that fight. In the fourth, Rory was still on fire, and boy, was she having a good time out there. I love to see it. Harmon ended the game with 26 points, going 2 of 2 from the arch, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds. Madison Booker had 16 points and 7 rebounds. On the other side, Gianna Neekins and Kiki Rice both had 17 points, and a big stat to point out is that UCLA had 20 turnovers to Texas's 10.
Best point guard in the country, looks like. Really gutsy performance by her tonight. Tough. The kid works. She didn't just wake up and be able to do that. She spends countless hours in the gym. She's been unbelievable for 5. This is her 5th year with me, and she's just special, man. I saw in the fourth quarter, she was about the only one that looked like she wanted it. So I was emptying the playbook for her because I wanted her to have it. She made some big shots for us.
Next, let's talk about Texas versus South Carolina. Now, South Carolina took out Duke pretty easily, so it was their time to try their hands with the Longhorns. This game was a lot tighter than the UCLA game, and for me, it was anyone's game. One of our subscribers stated that this game would be won by 2 points. Listen, I need to get some betting tips from you because you called that one perfectly. South Carolina took the lead early, but not for long. The Longhorns and the Gamecocks were going 2 for you, 2 for me, with Bria Cunningham showing up big in the first for Texas. Going into the second, we had some back-to-back-to-back missed layups by Tania Latson, and Texas started widening the gap. Girl, what is going on? You are better than this. Anyways, Tessa and Medina rallied to keep them within striking distance, going into the half down by 4. After the half, we had a rally by South Carolina. Medina Akat and Joyce Edwards showing up big and putting South Carolina ahead by 4 going into the fourth. Then the back and forth trading baskets started again. Several fouls committed, sending players to the free throw line, and the game ended with Texas winning by 2. The high score for the Longhorns was Jordan Lee. She didn't get a chance to show her skills last year, so I wasn't sold on her at the end of the season. It was when I saw her play over the summer at the U19 that made me say, okay, Texas has got them something special in this one. And she's really been stepping up this year, putting up 19 in this win over the Gamecocks. Then there's Maryland versus Kentucky, and Maryland and Kentucky were amongst the lucky schools to take the trip to Puerto Rico. I didn't get an opportunity to watch this game, but I read over the stats, and from the stats alone, it seems like Kentucky could have won this game. They had a better field goal percentage, only 2 made 3-pointers less than the Terrapins, more rebounds, more assists. It was the turnovers and the fouls that seemed to land them in the loser circle. Kayleen Schmeichel with the Terrapins had 22 points in this game and went 9 of 11 from the free throw line. Now, why was she at the free throw line that much? Who was the culprit? Oh, Tioni Key fouled out. And right after I was giving her props last week. Shame. It also appears that Yardine Garzone decided to throw up some shots. She ended with 17 points, going 5 of 10 from the 3. And Maryland's freshman Addie Mack ended with 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. Way to stick it out, Terrapins, and congrats on this awesome win. Now there's Georgia versus Kansas. All right, Bulldogs, here we go. We don't talk about them dogs very much, but they squeezed this one out. Samaya Nichols of Kansas popped off early, getting 7 points in the first 5 minutes of the game, and Georgia simply couldn't keep up. The first quarter ended with the Dogs down by 9, and it was not looking good. Starting the second, Georgia couldn't hit a thing or keep their hands on the ball. But late in the second, they got a 3 from Danny Carnegie, the transfer from Georgia Tech, then another 3 from Trinity Turner, and a follow-up 3 from Danny Carnegie again, then a few made free throws, putting the Bulldogs within 2 going into the half. In the third, Samaya Nichols may have been the only Jayhawk to get on the board. She was Superwoman. Ultimately, the Bulldogs were able to hold off the Jayhawks for the win. Samaya Nichols ended the game with 40 points, going 12 of 17 from the field. No other player from Kansas got in the double digits. For the Bulldogs, Danny Carnegie ended with 23 points, with 10 of those coming from the free throw line. And Riley Thirakoff, the transfer from Wake Forest, came in with 11 points. Last up is Tennessee versus UCLA, and this was Janiah Barker's first return to UCLA since her transfer this summer. I watched this game for the most part, but I'll be honest, I checked out a couple of times. I expected UCLA to win this game, but I didn't exactly expect what I saw. Tennessee at points were like kids playing giants. They were completely outsized and, dare I say, outskilled. Janiah put up a great fight, putting up 25 points, only 4 points less than Gabriela Jaquez, who was the high scorer of the game with 29 points. Outside of Barker, there were 3 other players in double digits, but very low double digits, while UCLA had 4 players in double digits, but they were very high. Like Rice had 20 points, Neepkins had 19, and Dugalek added 14. UCLA averaged 58% and 59% from the three-point line, with Jaquez going 5 of 6 and Neepkins going 4 of 6, while Charlize Ledger-Walker broke her season high 11 assists for this game. Here's what I'm sure some people are saying, and that is that Tennessee shut down Betts. Not so. I don't think the plan was for Betts to be the focal point of this game. Having Betts in the games means 1 or 2 players will need to guard her. Doing what? Leaving an open woman on the perimeter, and they made Tennessee pay for it. Dugalek was able to light them up, and Betts got to play decoy. Tennessee did not seem to play their best basketball, and I have to wonder if it had something to do with that chip on Janiah Barker's shoulder. I'm not sure. What do you guys think is happening here?
Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Now moving on to our players of the week. My YouTube partner chose Audie Crooks as her player of the week because how could you not? Crooks had an awesome week last week. The Cyclones took out Indiana, where Audie, as the high scorer, and get this, had 47 flippin' points. 47, y'all. Who does that? She was the X factor of the game. They simply could not stop her. Well-deserved, Audie. Well-deserved. My player of the week was Rory Harmon, basically due to her performance in the Players Era Championship. She showed up big in the UCLA game with 26 points. Then on the win over South Carolina, while she didn't have the big stats that night, she was the one that sealed the deal at the end. We haven't seen this type of game from Rory, but if this is the pressure she's bringing in her senior year, y'all better watch out. So that's our players of the week. We did look at Michaela Blake's as well, but let us know who your player of the week was and if you agree with who we chose. Now let's discuss the games to watch for Week 5. Starting Wednesday, December 3rd at 5 p.m., we have Kentucky going up against Gal Reviv and the Miami Hurricanes, who seems to be finding their footing. That game can be viewed on ESPN2. Also on Wednesday at 7 p.m., there will be Oklahoma will face off against North Carolina State, and that game can also be viewed on ESPN2. Later Wednesday night at 9:15 p.m., Tennessee will face off against Stanford, who has a group of freshmen that I'd love to see how they stack up against the SEC. That game can be viewed on ESPN2. On Thursday, December 4th, Texas will face University of North Carolina at 7 p.m. on ESPN2. Also at 7 p.m., number 3 ranked South Carolina will face off against number 22 ranked Louisville. That game will be at 7 p.m. and it can be viewed on ESPN. Later on Thursday at 9 p.m., Duke will face LSU. We get to see LSU face some competition, and this can be viewed on ESPN. Also at 9 p.m. on Thursday will be Notre Dame versus Ole Miss, and I'm looking forward to seeing Ole Miss play. That one can be viewed on ESPN2. Then on Saturday, December 6th at 1 p.m., Britt Prince and Nebraska will face Gracie Markle, Keomi McMillan with Penn State. This one can be viewed on the Big Ten Network. Then on Sunday, December 7th at 8 p.m., USC will face the Washington Huskies, and this game can also be viewed on the Big Ten Network. And that is all that we have for this week, guys. Again, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you on the next one. Goodbye.